Hello again. We've been looking at how a movement for a second revolution in the USA can avoid those mistakes that have dogged so many other revolutions and led to their going off the rails and failing miserably to living up to their ideals. At the end of the last episode, I promised we'd be moving on from one of those mistakes, which has to do with choosing violence over nonviolence. But there's something I want to read to you from a little book that I wrote that sums up what we've been talking about that issue so far. First, a group that sees oppressors and those that they recruit to serve them as simply evil and deserving of physical attack splices into its own DNA the genes that replicate a demonizing oppressor mentality. It also generates organizational forms, values, and practices that conflict with the humane and democratic ideals that it seeks to further. And it creates so many enemies and so much armed resistance, even after succeeding, that a heavy hand is needed to maintain control then as well, as opposed to the reconciliation that can follow a nonviolent shift in power. The multitudes who participated in the communist and anti-colonial revolutions of the last century, as well as most of their leaders, had high ideals. Most of those revolutions seem to have failed to live up to those ideals, and I am convinced that these consequences of what they called the armed struggle are a primary reason for that failure. Okay, with that said, we will move on to another topic that's equally important to building a successful revolutionary movement, one that we can have enough hope in so that it's worthwhile undertaking that task.